Hey, I'm Steve Mignonti, and you're watching Modeling with Mags on the Round 2 For You network. And this is an AutoWorld catalog. And of course, we all know that Round 2, well, reinvigorated AutoWorld recently. And of course, the AutoWorldStore.com is a location for you to shop and purchase any number of die-cast, plastic models of cars and trucks, and even aircraft and ships in scales ranging from 1/64th to 1/18th scale. But you might wonder, what is AutoWorld and where did it come from? Well, as these catalogs indicate, AutoWorld was a mail order company located in Scranton, Pennsylvania. They started in 1958. Oscar Kovaleeski was the fellow who was in charge of the company, and he was a big sports car racer. Way back in 1950, Oscar Kovaleeski was racing an MGTD, I think it was, in SCCA racing, and his father actually produced a line of miniature antique cars called the Old Timers. By 1958, Oscar had been in and out of the Army. He was in the MASH medic unit, apparently, and in 1958 started selling model car kits that were then a very small but growing industry. Monogram, Revell, companies like that were making model kits. And of course, AMT, MPC, SMC, and Johan would arise in the late 50s, early 60s, and become the powerhouses that we know today. Of course, AMT and MPC are still very much alive. In fact, they're owned by Round 2, and you'll find AMT and MPC models at the AutoWorldStore.com location. But I love these catalogs. This is the 1974 catalog. In fact, the first one that I ever owned. I was 10 years old in 1974, and I remember distinctly sending away $2.39 for the MPC Chevy Caprice model. And when it arrived, I was amazed by its 454 big block engine, but more importantly, MPC included a little trailer, this thing right here, which came with the kit. And you could glue this together and haul around your other model cars. But details like this were little things that made model building such an intriguing hobby to me, and probably you too. Now, another thing that AutoWorld did back in 1961 is this. This is their 1/25th scale license plate sticker sheet. And as it says on here, these are miniature license plates from virtually every state. The idea is that you peel these things off. The adhesive is kind of dried up and gone by this point in time, but you peel them off and put them on your 1/25th scale model car for an extra touch of realism. But as I mentioned earlier, Oscar Kovaleeski, the founder of AutoWorld, was also very active in the world of real SCCA sports car racing. And so there was a separate company called AutoWorld Motorsports. This arrived in, I think, 76, 77. This is their 1979 catalog. And in the AutoWorld Motorsports catalog and showroom in Scranton, Pennsylvania, you could buy auto racing stuff, wheels, tires, driving suits, gloves, things like that. And it just goes to show that AutoWorld and Oscar Kovaleeski were as serious about their racing as they were their model cars. And speaking of model cars, these are some items right here that are from AMT, but they're not what you think. This looks like a 1966 Ford Mustang Fastback, the 2+2. It's a GT with the rocker stripes. But the funny thing is, you look underneath and you'll see, what are these? Dials for a radio. AMT, like some of the other model kit manufacturers, did contracts with auto manufacturers and subassembly manufacturers. In this case, Philco Radio, which was a subsidiary of Ford. And Philco, of course, supplied radios for all Ford passenger cars. So they thought, why don't we make an AM radio, a little transistor radio, and put a battery in the back and make these available through Ford dealerships, and I think also through Philco radio distributors also. But I remember as a kid, my grandmother, Phyllis Ober, Nanny we called her, had one of these, and she yelled at me when I stepped on it and I crushed the A-pillar. But it was the same basic car, a little red Mustang Fastback 2+2, and hers actually worked. You could turn it on to listen to AM radios, the Hollies, some early Beatles, whatever it is, through the little speaker. Another item too by AMT is this. This is a 1962 Pontiac Tempest, and AMT did do a model of this, but this is something a little bit different. This is a friction drive right there. Now, this was a series that I think also included a Falcon and perhaps a Corvette. I don't know exactly, but certainly this is part of a family of friction drive cars. And these were sold in toy stores and maybe through Pontiac dealers, not sure. But these are very similar to an AMT kit, but again, with this metal panel in the front with a friction drive motor inside. But it's really cool stuff. And one final thing is, car models and magazines go hand in hand. Of course, Scale Auto Enthusiast, the late great Scale Auto Enthusiast, recently canceled. But way back in the day, this is Car Model magazine, and this was where you went to find out the latest news from AMT, MPC, Revell, IMC, Monogram, and Hawk, and other kit manufacturers like that. And I love in this one here, the final page. There it is, a full page AutoWorld ad. And if we look at it real close, we can see the IMC Little Red Wagon, the Skipper's Critter from Revell, and all those great model kits. And, I'm proud to be associated today with Round 2 AutoWorld store and its various subsidiaries as they bring MPC and AMT models from the past into the present and future. Stay tuned to more Modeling with Mags here on the Round 2 4U network. See you next time.